Could you elaborate on the difference between consciousness and awareness? I have some trouble in my comprehension because in my mother tongue, the translation for both is the same. Makes sense. And many people translate it as the same, as though awareness and consciousness are the same things. Also, when I read texts, I cannot perceive a clear boundary, especially when consciousness is written in upper and lower case. I get it. Some words just don't do it justice. You just have to do your best with it. That's the nature of this kind of discussion. But what I was contemplating the other day was, Ramana Maharshi often says if something arises, if you can experience something, it can go away. And so that's been in my awareness, but I also recognize that there are times in meditation where existence is there, but awareness as we know it as a human being can't persist because the human organism doesn't have the capacity to process that. But we are that. And so now it's going to get a little goofy, but I'll do my best here. So in certain states of meditation, once you start to go beyond the mind, the you that you are still exists. But you can't understand it, feel it, remember it from the point of view of Ryan or Lee or Lorna. So if you are not able to maintain your capacity to go into that, it might seem like you go unconscious, but you don't, because you're actually quite conscious. So awareness rises and falls. For example, I am pretty aware right now. Was I aware as Ryan what was going on at 3:36 a.m. last night? Can't say I was. I know that my body was asleep. It's likely I was probably dreaming. So there's a subtle kind of knowing about it. But as far as awareness goes, no, there is not awareness there. So the tricky part is that awareness arises and falls. Awareness arises and falls. And that's hard because that's all we really know. So in the beginning, what we're really doing is cultivating our awareness. And we can say that that is consciousness. But consciousness is everything. Consciousness is everything. And, is this little piece of plastic aware? Well, maybe if I meditated hard enough on this piece of plastic and I could unite my awareness through samadhi with this piece of plastic, I might become aware of the awareness of plastic consciousness. It's kind of not necessary, but maybe I could, but that would take some time and I don't really care. But we have to create a field of awareness that is pristine and light and as stable as possible. That's why there is the emphasis towards developing sattva in yoga. And then once that becomes fully established, then we are more fully able to realize the totality of consciousness. And it is beyond awareness as you know it. But through the practice of yoga, you do get to experience that. But it's not something that can be talked about, discussed. So in the beginning, I wouldn't get too hung up on these words because in the end, you're going to let them go anyway. But for the sake of your practice, just define the word consciousness the best you can for yourself, from what you understand, from what your teachers have said, from what you have read, and then let that grow in you, the understanding grow in you. Your understanding of awareness, again, do the same thing. Listen to what your teachers have said, listen to what you have read, pay attention to your own experience and come to your own conclusion about what this is, and then be that. Let that be what it is, but also have the capacity to allow yourself to get the direct understanding, which you're not going to be able to talk about, share with others, or describe, which is why this conversation has gone a little goofy because there's no way to really put this stuff into words. but be aware that you will get a knowing of it. You will get an experience of it. But you do have to keep doing the practices and the contemplation, the study as you're instructed to get there. I can't tell you what this city in California is like because you've never been there, but I can tell you how to get there. And then you can go yourself and figure it out. So that's what yoga is all about. And I apologize. I wish I had a better way of elaborating on that, but that's the trouble with words. And no one can get beyond that. Please always remember that. If you meet someone who can explain everything to you perfectly, I'd be very cautious. Now, they should be able to explain the basics. It should make sense, the basics. It should be logical, the basics of practices, of general philosophy, and so on. But this real subtle stuff, if they can talk you in circles and make you believe that you understand what they're saying without you having a direct experience, that's what you need to be cautious of.